After episode 6 of Peacemaker, you know I had to come back and talk theories with you. The craziest part to me is in my previous video, I came up with the theory that I thought was so crazy. I never thought that it would go anywhere. I literally threw it out as like this probably will amount to nothing. And it's gaining more and more people each week with each episode that we've had, to the point that now it feels plausible, which is crazy to me. We'll talk more about that theory in a bit, but first I want to get into some new theories that I have for you for Peacemaker Season 2. And friends, if you have theories for me, please let me know about some of those down in the comments below. We actually had some theories that were shared on my episode 6 review, which if you haven't seen that, you can check that out probably somewhere over here. It'll be on the video. As we go through, I'm also going to shout out some of your theories that you shared with me in my episode 6 review, because some of y'all are even thinking like me, which I love. And then some of you have some really cool theories of your own, which I also love. So let's start with my biggest one. I talked about this one in the episode 6 review, and that is that I think I understand what Rick Flag Sr. really wants. Does he want a pocket dimension for Argus and the US? Is that what he's after? No. Does he want to just take out Peacemaker and get revenge for the death of his son? No. I don't think he actually does. I think it all lies in the conversation that Rick Flag Sr. has with Lex Luthor in episode 6. And something that I just want to say, I talk about this in my review, but Frank Grillo is such a great actor, and that is why I have this theory. It actually comes from the line delivery that we get, from the look behind his eyes. He says to Lex at one point, "I need this," in reference to the door that opens up to all of the alternate realities. It seems that he wants this pocket dimension, possibly not just for Argus, but for himself, because he talks about his need. I think what Rick Flag Sr. is really looking for is to go to another reality to find a replacement for his son. Basically, I think Rick Flag Sr.'s journey is actually going to be pretty similar to Peacemaker's. The whole reason that Peacemaker falls in love with this other reality this season is because it's a place where his dad and his brother are both alive and love him, and they have like a great relationship. And I think Rick Flag Sr. is looking for something similar. He is looking for someone to step into the role of his son. He's looking to find his son in another reality and also be able to, have that good relationship and mend that through finding a replacement, basically. Which is also why I think Rick Flag Sr. makes such a great foil for Chris this season, because I think they're actually more similar than maybe we thought at first. I also love that Joel Kinnaman has been brought back this season to play Rick Flag Jr. in the Earth 2 or the Earth X reality. I refer to it as Earth 2 because that's how they refer to it on the Peacemaker podcast. That's how the crew refers to it and the cast. But Earth X has also basically been confirmed as what it is. James Gunn has said, yeah, that's basically what we're doing here. So either one is fine. But just know, when I say Earth 2, that's what I mean. I know there's a different Earth 2 in the comics. That's a whole other thing. We're talking about just the DCU. And I'm just going with that because that's how they refer to it in the script. Moving on to my next theory, I think that alternate Adebayo may make an appearance. And what's more, I think I know where she's going to be. And I think it's in, sadly, captivity. Because in this reality, I feel like there are people that think everyone has just been removed that's a person of color, but I think they're still alive, but they're just being kept somewhere else. And this is a theory based off of something that Keith says when he gets out of the car to run after Adebayo down the street. He says, "One got out." And that makes me think that all of these people are being held somewhere, and who knows what they're having them do. Probably nothing good is happening there, but I suppose we'll probably find that out in episode 7. I feel though that Adebayo will be alive and will likely be held, and I think it's really cool because we're also going to get to see such different versions potentially of this character as well. Ads has been really positive this season, and so I'm wondering if her alternate self is going to be the most sad person because of everything that's happened to her in her life. I guess we'll have to see. I also have some theories on cameos this season. My first one comes from a few different things. But I think we could see more of a crossover with the Arrowverse. Specifically, I think we might see Grant Gustin's The Flash appear here. Now, why do I think this? Well, one, we've already had a lot of ties to the Arrowverse with Earth X and obviously Jitters being a thing and Keo working at Jitters. And then, of course, there is also Belly Burger has been referred to. And Jitters obviously also appears in the comics. But I'm just saying, I'm seeing some potential Arrowverse connections here. Also, on the podcast, at one point, James Gunn did talk about the Arrowverse a little bit. And he also talked about his admiration for Grant Gustin as the Flash. And a lot of fans really love Gustin's adaptation of Barry Allen and have said that they would like to see him in, the cinematic universe as Barry. So I'm wondering if maybe Grant Gustin will end up being our DCU Flash. After all, we don't really have that confirmed yet. I don't really know what's going on with Ezra Miller, so I guess we'll see if this is true or not. But I think it could be kind of cool to see Grant Gustin there. I personally like The Flash. That's my favorite area of the Arrowverse, so I'd be here for it. People have also been talking about Superman cameos, and obviously we already got one with Lex Luthor, and we've also had the Justice Gang, but I feel like why not complete some more of this set by maybe bringing in the man himself, Superman. However, knowing that this is James Gunn, I wonder if instead of us getting a Superman cameo at the end, if we could potentially get an Ultraman cameo. How weird would it be if it's just like they think Superman's coming and then it turns out to be Ultraman? Obviously, based on where we left everything, I don't know if that's where we'd go, but I could definitely see James Gunn writing something like that. So I guess we'll have to wait and see at the end. But Superman could appear. But the best cameo that I have come up with, and it's one that y'all have also acknowledged in the comments on episode 6 in your theories, we are aligned, my friends, we are aligned, is none other than G.I. Robot from Creature Commandos. And of course, G.I. Robot makes a lot of sense when you consider everything that's going on in Earth 2/Earth X over here. I think that this would be a character that it would be fascinating to see either what G.I. Robot's up to here or to potentially call him in as backup. Why not? I think that it could be possible. I feel like Sean Gunn already worked on season 2 as Maxwell Lord, so why not have him also work some more as G.I. Robot, because he voices G.I. Robot in Creature Commandos. Cyclops says, "It's about time to send in my boy, G.I. Cheers to the Tin Man." Cheers to the Tin Man indeed. And Cosmic Truth Tortoise said, "I hope and pray we get to see G.I. Robot put belt to Az on Earth X." And I totally would also agree. G.I. Robot is actually my favorite character from Creature Commandos, so this may be a bit of wish fulfillment as well, but I think it would make sense. There's also been a theory that, our Earth 2/Earth X Vigilante that we're introduced to in the last episode when Vigilante meets his alternate self might actually replace the main continuity Vigilante. Perhaps that Vigilante will die, and then this new Adrian, will take his place. Because they are so similar. Would anyone even notice, I wonder? I don't know. But that's interesting to me, and that could be something that I could see happening here. I definitely think something terrible is going to happen. I feel that one of the saddest theories that I've seen, that I personally have also shared in, is Peacemaker having to take out his dad and his brother in this reality. Now that he's here and he realizes, what's going on, he's going to have to do that to save his friends. Particularly, one of the commenters thought to save Adebayo. Matt Gorsuch says, "My theory is that Chris will have to kill his father and brother again to save Leota." However, some people have other theories for what's going to happen with Leota. Brian Rhymes says, "I think Leota will be rescued by Adrian? Plus, love the t-shirt." Oh, thanks, Brian. Also, yeah, that could be possible. I could see Vigilante also being the one to save the day, but I think that theory with Peacemaker is just, it's so heartbreaking. It feels right to me, because James Gunn loves to break our hearts, especially in Peacemaker. It can be such a tragic show, and that's what I love about it, honestly. And some of you also thought that some of my other theories sounded right. Vincent Pasquarel says, P.S. I think you're right. Rick Flag Sr. is looking to find an alternate reality version of Junior. Vincent also said, this was such a deep episode. It was a commentary on real life in a big way. Like many people in the real world, Chris was living his best life and was blind to the racism that was going on around him because it didn't affect him directly. And I also love that comment, by the way. I know it's not a theory, but I just think it's a great observation. And I agree with you, Vincent. I feel like there is such deep commentary that happens in this show, and that is something else that I love about it. When it comes to what could be happening on Earth X, C. Soloy also has a theory. They would like to see the Ray appear. They say, since this is shaping up to be Earth X/Earth 10, I'm hoping we'll get an appearance by the Ray. In his animated web series on the CW last I checked, and in the Flash crossovers, he was established as having Earth X as his home. He was, however, a member of the Freedom Fighters, not the Sons of Liberty. A few of you kind of shouted out the Freedom Fighters, which I love. I do think the Sons of Liberty will basically be this universe's version of the Freedom Fighters. I could be wrong about that, but I think it's possible we might see some version of the Ray because of this. We'll have to wait and see, but it's a cool theory. Dominic James says, Judo Master will be saved by Vigilante and join 11th Street. I feel like I could see with how we've been building up Judo Master throughout this season, especially as like this frenemy character, and he's kind of now got a bit of a working relationship with Economos. Like they don't like each other, but they still work together, and they kind of teamed up to hate on Red St. Wild, so they have that in common at least. And even with his fight with Peacemaker, I could definitely see Judo Master being recruited into the team and being welcomed in, and I think it would be a fun addition, to be honest with you. And David's theory is James Gunn is a genius. I think in terms of writing and directing, I'd have to agree with you, David. I feel like James Gunn has proven with Peacemaker, and of course, I love Guardians of the Galaxy as well. With a few projects, there's a few things that I've really enjoyed from James Gunn, that he is super capable as a director and extremely skilled, I think, as a writer. And that's pretty much it for the theories that you guys shared, so it's time for me to shout out my craziest theory from part 1 that I think might be reality at this point, and that is that Martian Manhunter is none other than Flurry, who's played by Tim Meadows. It's weird. That theory I thought was so out there, but more and more people have been jumping onto it, I'm noticing, on the internet, and pointing out things that makes it seem more and more plausible in each episode. And I feel like we're also getting some depth with the character that's making people be like, wait a minute, maybe Flurry isn't so bad. Maybe he could be a hero in disguise. Maybe he's Martian Manhunter. Maybe. I hope that we're right about this one, because it would be wild. Either way, we'll come back to see what we were right and wrong about after the show is done, and perhaps, after the next episode, I will have even more theories, because goodness knows I had so many after watching this last episode. Let me know some of your theories down in the comments below, and let me know how you're feeling so far about this season. Which do you prefer, the season 1 opening, the season 2 opening, and do you know the choreo to both? I want to know down in those comments. I'll see you there, and until next time, friends, as always, stay nerdy. Bye! Oh, also, if you have hype and you want to hype, that's a thing that you can do. Feel free. And check out this. This is a superhero thing. I like superheroes. You like superheroes. You'll probably like this video.